Blast me to Kalma's skull. It's time for the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey, issues 71 and 72, full coverage, part 1. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. And we're moving on with another double bill. So this is issues 71 and 72, which are our Lychguard / Triarch Praetorians kit. So this is our frames. We'll have a look at those close up in a second. We've got issue 71 and issue 72, full of all important Lychguard information. So we've got a build guide, a rogue trader story, the War for Ramesses continuing. Read all about different Necron villains / heroes in their minds. We have some information about some more Space Marine heroes, and we have Warlord traits for our Adeptus Sororitas. Plus we got our paint guide and data sheets. So before we get into anything, first off, hello and welcome back. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like if you have enjoyed it, or are enjoying it, should I say. So, without further ado, let's take a look at our frames and then we can start going through our magazine. I've already built 5 of these as I bought 2 extra copies of these issues. So I've already got them built and painted off to the side there. So we'll show a gallery in a minute. Just going to decide how I'm going to build the other 10. I think I'll be definitely doing some with a shield and board. And I don't know if I'm going to do a unit of 10 or if I might do Triarch Praetorians, as I've never done them, but they're not really a unit I play with. But let's get on and have a look at that all-important and very full frame. So here we have our frame, and also in issue 71 they sent us a set of these flying stands as they were missed with the Phobos Marines in the early 60 issues. I've got plenty of these, so these are going into my bits box for future projects. We also get 5 32mm bases, so to put our Necrons on, perfect. And now we've got the meat of the magazine here. So we are 3 frames for this one kit, and it builds either 5 Lychguard or 5 Praetorians, and there are some specific components for each. So we'll start with this double frame here. So, stop falling over. So we've got our legs for 4 of the models here, with the other one on the other frame. We've got the backs here for the Triarch Praetorians, with their curved spines, their backwards rib cage, and their energy amplifiers here, and abilities that make them fly, because they have the fly keyword. So we've got different weapons for each of the models. So we've got the Staff of Light for the Triarch Praetorians, the War Scythe for the Lychguard, the Blade for the Lychguard as well, which is their secondary option. We have a single staff haft, so we just glue the 2 at either of the staff ends on. We have a particle caster, which goes with the Void Blade here, which is the second equipment option for the Triarch Praetorians. And finally, each one has the option of a shield to go with the Hyperphase sword there. So we've got tails here, which go for the Lychguard on the back, and we've got loincloths, not the Lychguard, the Praetorians, sorry, they have the tails. And then the Lychguard have the loincloths here. Not really my favourite component to add on the Lychguard, looks weird, but it's part of what they are, so yeah. It's nice that each one is sort of sectioned out onto half the frame each, though you can freely mix and match the components, so you can easily put the The arms will be matched, so you've got 50i, 51i, 52i, etc. for that arm, but you can easily put that on any of the other different bodies as you see fit. So there we have that frame. And finally we've got the smaller frame, or well, the separate frame. This came with 71, I believe. No, 72 this one came with, I think it was. I'll have a look in the instructions in a minute when we get through. So yeah, we've got the spines here, which are all identical for the Lychguard. Spines for the Praetorians with their rib cage. And we got the longer tail and loincloth here, which is supposed to designate a unit champion, though there is no real unit champion. But you could easily use it to help identify a lord if you want to, because one of the options you could do with this kit is you could build up a couple of regular Necron lords, give them some various different war gears, so give yourself a bit of variety for the tabletop. So we've got the backs here for the Lychguard and the fronts, which are for both Lychguard and the Triumph Praetorians. We have the neck joints up here, and if we flip over, we have the heads. So the fancy crowns, these are the Lychguard heads, and these heads are the third eye or energy orb on the forehead there. Those are for the Lychguard, the Praetorians, sorry. So yeah, you have quite a few of the void blades here on this frame, but they can go to any of the arm combinations as you see fit. So yeah, really good kit. Some really great components and a kit basher's dream. You are going to be left with plenty of the combat weapons and pistols, etc. when you build your squad, so you can easily scatter these across your other Necron models. Right, let's start going through all the new lore of our magazines, starting with issue 71. So here we are with issue 71. So in this we get 5 miniatures, parts 1 of 2. We have the build guide, a short story for the rogue traders, and the war for Ramesses continues to expand. Excuse me. Right, so starting off on our contents page here, we have our data record, battle record for our Lychguard. We have a lot of information to go through. So we've got the Dark Imperium, Helbrecht and Grimaldus of the Black Templars, the Emperor's Justice, a short story, Double Crossed, the Rogue Trader page, and 2 Necron characters, Orican and Anrakia. We have the build guide for the Lychguard, and we have Mission 12, War in the Dark. So, the Lychguard, Guardians of the Nobility. Prior to biotransference, those who became Lychguard were elite warriors. Bodies of living metal have only enhanced their combat skills, making them some of the most lethal warriors in the galaxy. So the magazine will show you how to build them with War Scythe only, as does the paint guide, but you can also give them a hyperphase sword and dispersion shield. So we got extra armor plating and much better armor plating than the other Necron infantry would have. Yeah, they look very imposing. And they do different ways of showing the war size here. So the way they've painted these ones, they've got a solid back with an energy blade. But on the website for the paint scheme I do, they have both parts of the blade being energy effect. So yeah, you can do it whichever way you fancy. So my unit is called the Bloodied Spearhead, and that's what this squad is going to be. They're going to be the heavy hitters with the Wardlaves there. Their commander is Cormac the Stormbringer. So these guys are going to be a shock troops. I haven't ticked that off yet. There's a pen, quickly. Because as I've got multiples of this, I can do another battle record for the Bodyguard unit. So these guys have a corrupted voice unit, so that means they can't talk, unlike the other Lychguard and Necrons. And they are enhanced with laser-resistant alloy armor. So it's a good thing most of the Imperium forces use bolt weapons. So moving on, we've got the Age of the Dark Imperium. So a brand new piece of lore for the 41st millennium. And this focuses on the Indomitus Crusades of Vibute Guilliman. So 10,000 years have passed since the Emperor ascended to the Golden Throne. 10,000 years of hardship, toil, loss, and horror. Doom and darkness now envelop the Imperium. So, the Age of the Dark Imperium was known because warp storms became greater than ever before and spread far across the galaxy, especially with the opening of the Great Rift. Many of humanity's worlds were lost and have been abandoned by their leaders at Terra. Most of them believing these worlds will no longer exist and so have been abandoned. But through that darkness, there has been a single beam of light, and that is Vibute Guilliman and his Crusades, leading forth and trying to reclaim the lost empire of the Emperor. So Necrons, demons, and chaos cults have been prolific in the waking of the Great Rift. It's best to sometimes ignore everything, that way you feel safe in yourself. But there is, of course, an ever-growing threat of evil in the galaxy. So yeah, many chaos cults hide in plain sight and in the shadows of Imperial worlds. So moving on, we've got some new characters for the Space Marines, and this is High Marshal Helbrecht of the Black Templars. So, High Marshal Helbrecht is the leader of the pious Black Templars. He is a merciless crusader, motivated and empowered by his unwavering faith in the God Emperor, and his burning hatred for heretic and alien alike. So, this details how he rose through the chapter. As a neophyte, he combated the assassin cults of Pelagon IV during the Vinculus Crusade. Later, as an initiate, he rose through the ranks, fighting Tyriad hordes at Death Core Ridge. And through his faith, he eventually replaced... he joined the Sword Brethren of Marshal Didin, and he would eventually succeed Marshal Didin and become Marshal of that particular force. When High Marshal Cordell fell, eventually, he would become the overall Marshal of the Black Templars, or High Marshal, keeping up the legacy of the first Marshal Sigismund, the First Templar. So, Helbrecht has a bitter rivalry with Imhotep the Stormlord, so one of my favourite characters, and from my favourite Tomb World. So yeah. Helbrecht's greatest nemesis is Imhotep the Stormlord. Helbrecht once duelled the Stormlord, suffering a humiliating defeat, if I can talk, and losing a hand to the Necron enemy. Since that day, Helbrecht still harbours a burning hatred for the alien warlord. He exacted a modicum of vengeance by destroying Imhotep's flagship, the Inevitable Conqueror. So, on the other side, we have another character from the Black Templars. This one is Merrick Grimaldus, the hero of Hell's Reach. Grimaldus is the High Chaplain of the Black Templars. He is a paragon of the Imperial faith, bellowing litanies and prayers to the God Emperor as he leads his battle brothers into the fight. So he earned his title, the Hero of Hell's Reach, during the Armageddon conflict. Whilst High Marshal Helbrecht led the Imperial fleet in Void Battle, Grimaldus and his followers reinforced Hive Hell's Reach and held it pretty much single-handedly for a long time. Though the Orcs would eventually bury the defenders in a basilica, Grimaldus would not yield to death and eventually pulled himself from the wreckage, carrying with him ancient relics thought lost. These relics are carried by his servitor retinue now, and he has crossed the Rubicon Primaris much like his High Marshal, and is happy to continue the pursuance of the Orcs. So our short story is The Emperor's Justice, featuring the Black Templars versus the Orcs. The Helt Crusade has reached the besieged hive world of Astalon. Imperial forces upon this filth-encrusted backwater find themselves outnumbered 10-1 by rampaging Orcs. On the eve of battle, a champion rises from the Black Templars' ranks to confront the Xenos foe. So it's a nice little story. Well, not little, it's a pretty long story. So it details a battle brother seeing the visions that indicates that he is to be the Emperor's champion. So he goes to see the chaplains. They take him through the rituals and suit him up in the armor of faith and give him the black sword. And it details how he and his squad, plus a chaplain, are driving to the front lines in a repulsor. And then we have a rather brutal conflict here between the Emperor's champion and a Orc warlord. Pretty nice, really detailed. Keeps the information on the battle around as well. We've got some small information here at the sides about different events on the particular warbound. And it sort of leaves a little bit of a cliffhanger with the Emperor Champion impaling the Orc, which actually does pretty much tie into the Bayard's Revenge model that they released last year, so that's pretty cool. That's what I thought of when I read that bit. Because it looks like it could carry on, because a lot of the early part of the story is him seeing visions of his own death, but he triumphs over this foe, so there's a chance the story could continue. So, this isn't the only story. We have a new page for our Rogue Trader section, and this in itself is a story, but it's done in the form of a report by the Inquisitor and also Captain Sonara von Hart. So this details a dealing with another rogue trader, Linus Sloane. Yeah, pretty cool. A lot of it details about the attack by Drukhari pirates, and it was Sloane who led them into the ambush, so he's going to be investigated by the Inquisition. And on this page we go into a lot of the forces that the Rogue Trader herself has encountered. So primarily there was the Drukhari, so we got the Drukhari Raiders, Witches and Homunculi Covens, and a shot there of a Drukhari vessel, very sleek and deadly. Other enemies that they have also faced are various pirates. So we got the Orc Freebooters, the Traitor Guard there, of, I think that's the Blood Cult or something. I don't see it. But yeah, they have like skull masks and wear very bloodied uniforms. And finally we got the Eldari Corsairs, who are Eldar who have left the fleet, and a combination of both Drukhari and Craftworld Eldar. They aren't as evil as the Drukhari, but they are open to piracy. And finally we got a picture and information here about the traitorous Linus Sloane and his dealings with the Drukhari. He's very happy to put others in harm's way if it gets him some moolah, as they say. Whew. Right, finally, we've got character information about Oricon the Diviner. So the single eye of Oricon the Diviner reveals to him the secrets of time, space, and even fate itself. His astromantic powers allow him to read the skeins of fate and to direct event towards whichever path will benefit him most. So he was once a Cryptek belonging to the Saltec dynasty, but through machinations of the Catan Mephetran and rival Crypteks, he eventually decided to sign himself with the Silent King. He has seen many of the great events throughout the galaxy, so the Horus Heresy, the Great Crusade before it, the Tyranid High Fleets, and of course the Great Rift. He's done various things that allows him to manipulate time and to, put things the way he wants them, not the way they should be. Oh no, sorry, time travel is this guy. Anrakier the Traveller. So, Anrakier is a tireless warrior whose crusade for unity are nothing short of inspirational to some of his kin. Other Necron nobles, however, see him as a rogue and opportunist, and privateer little better than the plundering vermin of lesser races. Anrakier cares not either way, so long as he is to continue his quest. So yeah, he's a Necron Lord, pretty awesome, so let's have a read here. A powerful warrior of great skill, Anrakier dispatches his foes with war scythe and Tachyon arrow. Should the foe send war machines against him, the Traveller projects his consciousness into the machineries of lesser races and bends their crude spirits to his will, turning heavy cannons and energy blasters upon their allies. Anrakier does not fight alone, however. His legions are battle-scarred veterans. At their heart march the Pyrian Eternal, Necron soldiers that hail from Anrakier's own crown world, and who have fought at his side for hundreds of years. Anrakier ceaselessly quests to awaken as many tomb worlds as possible. For each Necron world he awakens or rescues, he demands a tithe of military might. Often this aid is given willingly, but not all Necrons share in his vision or zeal. On occasion, though, it saddens him to do so. Anrakier will resort to extortion, piracy, and violence to obtain his reinforcements. So, really cool character. Like I said, he travels between all the different tomb worlds and demands a tithe to bolster his forces. So, this is a guy you could probably create using the Lychguard frame. Just need to find a Tachyon arrow component. Might be able to make one out of the particle casters. And yeah, pretty cool. Nice Lord character there. So yeah, now on to our build guide. So issue 71 comes with the 2 frames, and issue 72 came with a single frame. So to build our Lychguard, we take the legs, glue them to the bases, and attach the loincloths. So A's will all go together, B's will go together, etc. Then we build our backs. So we got the spines, which need to be glued in to all the different torso backs. And then we glue the neck into the front of the torso before gluing the 2 halves of the torso together. And then we can glue the torso down to the legs, which is one bit I must admit I do like the new Necron Warriors for, that the spine is actually attached to the back half of the torso, so you just have to glue the front half on, and there's no risk of it moving while the glue is drying. So yeah, just hold it in position, it should dry pretty quickly. So, gluing and building the arms and heads for our Lychguard. So, as we mentioned on the frames, each pair of arms goes to a specific weapon. What I suggest you do is glue one arm on at a time, allow the glue to dry for a good 5 to 10 minutes, and then glue the other arm on and glue the arms to the torso. If you want to, of course, you have the variant assembly option. This is gluing the shields and hyperphase swords instead of the war size there. And then after that, you just have the options of all the different heads there to glue onto any of the bodies as you see fit. They've got some really nice crowns and various different designs, which is pretty cool. All right, moving on to issue 72. Okie dokie, let's get into issue 72. So we've got some new Necron villains to learn about, including one of my very favourites, some Space Marine heroes, and we have warlord traits for our Adeptus Sororitas force. So, full contents for this issue, we have Zandrak and Xeris, Azrael and Lazarus, Space Marine Vehicles Part 4, Festering Hordes Part 2, a new story, Lychguard Paint Guide, Warlord Traits of the Battle Sisters, Data Sheets of the Lychguard, and a brand new mission locating the gate. So here we go with our new Necron characters, Zandrek. Necrons who hold the rank of Nemesaur bear great military responsibility. Though revivification left him quite insane, Nemesaur Zandrek still strives to fulfill his duties, assisted by his loyal bodyguard, Vargard Oberon. So yeah, like I said, this is one of my favourite characters. He still believes himself to be flesh and blood, as are all his enemies. Sadly, he doesn't see his enemies as they are. He sees even Space Marines or Orcs as enemy Necron tiers, servants or rebellious dynasties, and will fight them as honourably as he can and try to subdue them into allegiance with himself. So, under his rule, the fringe world of Gidrim has become a military hub. So, like I said, he is slightly insane. He does believe himself to be flesh and blood, and as such, he employs courtiers such as food testers, and even puts on lavish feasts which will never ever get consumed after the victories he wins. So he is assisted by Vargard Oberon, who is a lord. He tries to support his overlord in as much as he can, but he does see him as a little bit of an annoyance. Unlike Zandrek, who will keep his defeated foes as prisoners, Oberon will have them meet a deadly accident. So yeah, he will often block enemy blows using his Ghost Mantle, allowing him to traverse across the battlefield in the blink of an eye. So moving on, we've got Luminor Xeris, and yes, this is the character we are getting in the extended issues. So Xeris is a merciless monster, a bioarchitect and hyper-technological vivisector who seeks to unpick the secrets of life itself. He puts his knowledge to use on and off the battlefield, preying upon living specimens. So yeah, Luminor Xeris has made the best of the biotransference. The Catan may have provided the knowledge, but it is his skills that has made it a reality. He's even took it upon himself to modify his own living metal frame to be the most brutal it can be. He now sports 4 arms and 4 legs, as well as a massive war scythe with a staff of light built into one end. As it says, he loves to tear apart living creatures. His model is very gruesome, where he is literally draining the energy out of a Imperial Navy breacher. So yeah, really cool character. Can't wait to get this guy's model. While he does serve the Silent King, he has been part of he does ally himself to pretty much any of the Tomb Worlds, so I'm going to be painting him up in my Saltec scheme. So yeah. Moving on then, we got information about a couple of new Space Marine heroes, or well, a rather old one. So Azrael, Supreme Grand Master of the Dark Angels, who is getting a new model soon, having crossed the Rubicon Primaris. Perhaps the greatest to ever hold the title of Supreme Grand Master, Azrael's martial skill and strategicness, are well known throughout the Imperium. He is deeply committed to the hunt of the fallen. So yeah, his origins are recorded somewhere in the archives, but it is a mystery regardless. They do say he came from the headhunting tribes of Chimeria, one of the Dark Angel recruiting worlds. He climbed the ranks, becoming a member of the Death Wing, and as captain of the Third Company and Grand Master of the Death Wing itself. He eventually took the role of Supreme Grandmaster after Naberius, the previous Grandmaster, died. And he's an individual of few words. When he does speak, however, it is with unbreakable conviction and absolute righteousness. So he has the relic, the Lion's Wrath, which is a mastercrafted combi plasma. So we have the bolt gun component here and the plasma underneath. It's been updated since this version. The magazine now clips into the side in a new model, which makes a lot more sense because where does the feed? It's kind of hard to figure out where things go in this particular design. But it's still a cool design for a bolter regardless. I like the stock, which is pretty cool. And we have information about Lazarus, Master of the Fifth Company. So Lazarus is Master of the Dark Angel's Fifth Company. Wounded by heretic fire during the disaster of Rimonok, he was the first Dark Angel to cross the Rubicon Primaris. Now recovered, he leads the Brothers of the Fifth in campaigns of vengeance against the followers of the Dark Gods. One thing they like to mention is that this guy is the captain of the Fifth Company. I wonder if it's because he's the captain of the Fifth Company. I don't know about the Fifth Company, but Fifth Company. So yeah, Lazarus is a pretty cool commander. He took over from Balthazar as captain of the Fifth Company after Balthazar died during the Dark Vengeance campaign, I believe. He has faced Magnus the Red and his Thousand Sons, developing a particular hatred for Psychers. And yeah, he is relentless in his pursuance of fallen and chaos traitors regardless. So all masters are members of the Inner Circle and have served time as veterans in the Deathwing. Right, moving on then, we've got another page for our Space Marine vehicles, this time focusing on their various flyers. So we got the biggest, bulkiest flyer of all, well, that we can take in games, the Storm Raven gunship. There is of course the bigger version. This is a slightly small version of the Thunderhawk, which is a larger transport, which itself is a smaller version of the Stormbird, which is the largest Space Marine transport aircraft, which has been in service since the days of the Horus Heresy. So yeah, basically this has been dubbed as the Flying Land Raider. It can carry Terminators and Space Marines up to 12 infantry in the hold, so Terminators obviously counts as 2 because they're pretty bulky. It also has a rear grapple, allowing it to transport a Dreadnought. Originally, these were exclusive to Blood Angels and Grey Knights, but has since been seen widely spread throughout all the other Imperial forces. Smaller and quicker, we have the Storm Talon gunship. So this fighter is perfect for taking on enemy aircraft. It has rotary jets, which allows it to hover in place. And it is loaded up with missiles and various assault cannons. You can also take heavy bolters and las cannons. And yeah, and pretty nice little flyer. It's not the best looking one. I do prefer the Stormhawk. So this one is a pretty new variant of the Storm Talon. It looks more like a generic fighter jet would. So we've got missile banks underneath here. We got assault cannons on the tips of the wings, and we have either a tri-barreled Iron Hell gun or a Las Talon on the front there. Other ships, we have the aircraft. We have the Storm Wolf, exclusive to the Space Wolf transport. So based on the design of the longboats from Fenrisian past, it's a breaching device. Basically allows you to, the las cannons or can burn through hulls of enemy ships, crashing through with its reinforced ram and depositing its cargo of deadly Terminators or Space Wolves. The Dark Angels have 2 fighters. They have the Dark Talon, which is a prison as well as a pretty deadly fighter aircraft, and they also have another one I forget the name of, but it is more a dedicated anti-aircraft dogfighter. I do love the design of this. pretty cool. Pity it is exclusive to the Dark Angels, but yeah, just a really nice design for a pretty cool aircraft. Yeah, my personal favourite is the Stormhawk, and of course the Storm Raven. Right, we are almost finished. So moving on, we have more Space Marine vehicles. This time we are looking at speeders. So the land speeders, named after the techno-archaeologist Arkan Land, have been in use since the early days of the Imperium. Most Space Marine chapters will field these, and there are quite a few variants. So we've got the basic land speeder, which has a single-seated gunner with the pilot. The land speeder Tornado employs underslung weapons of either an assault cannon or heavy flamer. And then the land speeder Typhoon adds missiles to the already dangerous equipment. So, pretty cool. Of course, Belisarius Cawl has seen that these land speeders are integral to the Space Marine Armory and has improved them, piloted by Phobos Armoured Space Marines. The Storm Speeders are updated versions of the classic land speeder using Repulsor Tech grav technology and have a variety of different equipment. So we've got missile pods and autocannons, Gatling cannons, small missile pods, targeters, missiles, las cannons, melters, and yeah, plenty of missiles. These guys love their missiles. So yeah, I've actually got one of these, my Crimson Fists, and I still need to finish painting it, actually. But really cool model. Not too keen on the little guy sticking his head out at the back there. That would have been better if they'd done it closed off. Yeah, still pretty cool vehicle. Nice update to a classic model. So we next have the final part of new lore. We have a continuation to the Festering Hordes, which sees the Grey Knights continue their fight against the forces of Nurgle. Thracian and his surviving brothers are pressing into the deeper or corrupted halls of the Space Hulk. And he does battle with a Great Unclean One. Pretty cool. We even hear him recite the Great Unclean One's name and banish him back to the ether. So yeah, his name is Gargor Shala Gorfraxis Gulashan. So yeah, wow, really cool. Really long name. I'm glad my name is just Merlin. Moving on then, we have our paint guide for our Lychguard. So yeah, if you're following the magazine and you are painting your Lychguard and your Necrons as the Zarek dynasty, do follow this guide. It's pretty cool. So yeah, we are painting with Runord Brass, picking out all the joints with Abaddon Black and some silver details with Lead Belcher. Retributor armor to pick out the bright gold. Shading the armor with Cryptek Armor Shade Gloss. The metal areas with Norn Oil and the gold with Reichland Flesh Shade. Highlighting the black with Dawnstone. And all our metals with Stormhost Silver. Before picking out the face with Corax White. And while we're at it, we're picking out the War Scythe and any energy orbs. We're then edge highlighting the face with White Scar. Picking out the eyes and energy orbs with Tesseract Glow before a dot of White Scar is added. Then for the weapons, again, like with the previous tutorial for weapons, I do not much like the yellow. Personally, yes, the black method are pretty cool, but I would put either Warpstone Glow, like I've done, or even Moot Green, just to give another shade of green, or even a double layer with Tesseract Glow. And then we have the finished Lychguard. They do look pretty menacing. So before we get into the little gallery of my models, might as well see what's in our next issues. So issue 73 is the Locust Heavy Destroyer. Really cool model. This is my second one. I haven't been able to order extra issues because they sold out pretty quickly. So definitely glad I got 2 of them now. So I'm going to be... Sadly, the datasheet we get says only 1 in a unit. So I'm going to be building 2 units of 1, which is pretty cool. But yeah, full paint and build and play guide for it. And we got a new folded out sheet for the Rogue Trader's Journal. And in issue 74, we get the Firestrike Servo Turret, a new unit for our Space Marines. We have a story featuring Chaos Space Marines. And we have a build and paint guide for the turret. So, pretty cool. Right, let's bring in my completed Lychguard before we sign off. So yeah, here we have my Lychguard finished off in my Saltec Dynasty colour scheme. I've done a basic glow to the weapons, not as good as I normally do, but yesterday I wasn't in much of a mood to paint the details, so I might go back and do them at a later date. But like I said, I have 2 more frames of these to build, so I'll be building up as shield and sword. So yeah, I'm going to have these guys as a small elite vanguard force to join the Overlord, while his main bodyguard will stay back with him and protect him with their shields. Yeah, really cool models, and you can get a little bit of posability with these guys. Like I said, the arms can be used on any of the bodies and any of the leg combinations. So yeah, just have fun with them when you build up your own. So that is it for this video. I've gone on for quite some time, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you're doing with your Lychguard. Are you going War Scythes, or are you going Hyperphase Swords and Dispersion Shields? And of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, there are all my links in the description down below, so do check those out. Patreon will be coming soon, so I'll be doing a video as soon as that happens. But that's it for this video, so thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time for more mad content. Goodbye.